Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Fournier, and I just wanted to talk about my near life experience. Now, some people call it a near death experience or out of body experience, but I felt more closer to life than I did to death. It was back in 1988. I was 25 years old. I was totally healthy, nothing wrong with me or anything. About 11 o'clock at night, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, we were living together in an apartment in Temple City, California. And we were just sitting on the couch watching a rerun of Cheers, the TV show, before going to bed at like 11 o'clock at night. And as we were just sitting there, I felt as if a hand grabbed the top of my head and just yanked me right out of my body. And I'm up at the ceiling looking down at us watching the TV, and then I just go right back into my body. And I can feel the difference. I can feel the weight of it now. And I look at my wife and I say, I got to go to the hospital. And she's like, she thinks I'm joking. She says, you're sitting in the couch and you have to go to the hospital? I say, I have to go to the hospital right now. There's something wrong with me. I never experienced leaving my body before. And I was out of my body, consciously out of my body. And so she was like, do you want me to call 911? Do you want me to get an ambulance? I said, no, I want you to take me there because it'd be quicker than waiting for an ambulance to come get me and bring me back. So I didn't have my shoes on. I went out into the bedroom to put my shoes on, and as I was sitting on the edge of the bed, putting my shoes on, it happened again. My whole body had just collapsed on the bed, back on the bed. And she was talking to me from the other room, and I could hear her and everything, but I couldn't respond to her. I couldn't get up. I couldn't do anything. Well, she comes into the room, and she's now trying to find a pulse. She's getting really concerned and everything. And I'm out of my body, and I'm looking at her doing all this, and I'm just thinking, how can this be that I'm out of my body, and I'm still conscious, I'm not dead, and I can feel the presence of God Almighty everywhere, everywhere. And I grew up as a Catholic. I believed in God, I believed in Jesus, but I had never experienced His presence. And it was so magnificent, I can't even describe with words how wonderful it was. I was just thinking, I had the answers to every question I ever had. I just started laughing and laughing and laughing and telling God how magnificent He was and how smart He was, that He was doing all of what He was doing. I could see everything that He was going to do. I can't remember it now, but at the time I can remember being just overwhelmed with His brilliance. I just thought, this guy's smart. But anyway, meanwhile, she can't find a pulse on my body, and I'm thinking to myself, if that's my body on the bed, what kind of body do I have now? And I lifted up my hands to look at it, and I can't describe it with human terms. I was exactly the same body that I am now, the same image, but it was made out of light. My body was made out of rainbow-colored lights, and they would go up and down my hands and my fingers, and they would pulse like a heartbeat. Boom, boom. And the light would get brighter and dimmer, brighter and dimmer. And I was like so impressed. I was like, with this body, you could go anywhere, you could do anything. You're never going to hurt yourself or anything. But anyway, she was going to the phone, and I got concerned with her. And it was funny because she was not like my wife or my girlfriend. She was like a little girl that just didn't understand. And I wanted her to understand. And she was getting on the phone. And so all of a sudden, I thought I was back in my body. And I got off the bed, and I started walking toward her. And I came up behind her, and I said, Amy, don't call him. Hang up the phone. And she wasn't hanging up the phone. And I said, I feel better than I've ever felt in my whole life. I don't know why I thought I was sick. I feel so good. It's amazing. And she wasn't looking at me, and she wasn't looking at me. And I realized she's talking so fast. And she was talking like, where's the dog? And should I bring the dog? Should we leave the dog? Where is the dog? And she had a million thoughts going in her head. And what's wrong with him? blah, 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 blah. She's going, and I said to myself, I said to her, I said, how can you talk so fast? And I can hear you talking so fast. And then I looked at her lips, and her lips weren't moving, but her voice was coming right out of her head. It was all the thoughts that she was thinking. I thought she was talking, but she was just saying her thoughts. I could hear all of her thoughts. And then I was just like, wow, that's awesome that I could hear all of your thoughts. But she couldn't hear me. She couldn't perceive me. She was starting to cry. She thought I was dead. And she's getting on with the 911 dispatcher. And I wanted her to hang up the phone. I'm going, Amy, just hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. I'm fine. But she wouldn't look at me. She didn't perceive me at all. So I said to myself, I'm going to go back into my body and I'm going to tell her that I'm alive and well. And then I want to come back here because this is much better than being in this human body. And instantly, as soon as I got the thought that I wanted to be back in my body, I was back in the room, in the bedroom, and I was next to my body. It was on my right side and I was on the left side. And so I wanted to get into my body and I couldn't get into my body. There was like a force field between it. And I was trying to shuffle my way in or just slide into it. And I couldn't. There was no way to get into it. So then I thought, oh, I came out of the top of it. Maybe I got to be on top of it. And instantly I was on top of it. It was underneath me. I could see my head underneath me. My head's here and my head's here. And I'm looking at it. And I'm trying to push myself back into my body. And I could not get into my body. And then I got really sad. And I could feel her sadness. And I felt the exact same sadness inside of me that she was feeling. That all her thoughts I could hear. And now I'm feeling her feelings too. And then I just looked up to the, I never saw God. I never saw an image of him. I just felt his presence. It's everywhere, everywhere, all at once. It's amazing. And I said, God, you're the only one that can put me back in my body. Would you please put me back in my body? And right at that time, it was like the universe said, that was the right thing to say. Because instantly, I felt this like a vacuum feeling. And I got vacuumed right into my body. And then I could feel the weight of it. I weigh 195 pounds, and I was like, oh, I've been carrying this for so long. This is heavy. And I said, Amy, to see if she could hear me. And she just jumped. She screamed like she saw a ghost. And she was on the phone with the dispatcher. And she says, they're going to send an ambulance. They're going to send an ambulance. And I said, no, tell them you're going to still take me because I don't want to wait for an ambulance and then go back again. Just have you take me. Tell them you're going to take me. So then she said, okay, they're going to have a doctor waiting for you. Let's go. And so we went into the car. She drove to the hospital. And they had a gurney waiting for me and everything. And as I got on the gurney and going to be wheeled in, I just start shaking. My whole body shaking like I'm absolutely terrified, just absolutely scared to death. I can't stop shaking in fear. And then I'm just feeling like I was just talking to God Almighty. I was just talking to him. He's real. He is so real. It's scary. Scary, scary, scary. And I don't care who you are and what you are. If you don't believe in God, I tell you what, the day of your death is going to be better than the day you were born. And you will be scared that day. He's scary, but so loving. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I was only scared when I got back into my body. I wasn't scared when I was in his presence. That was amazing. But anyway, I'm in the hospital now, and now the doctor is examining me, doing everything, blood pressure, blah, blah, blah. And I said to myself, well, if I'm going to die again, if I'm going to leave my body again, or if God's taking me out again, I'm going to tell this doctor exactly what's happening. So I told him everything. I'm hearing my wife's thoughts coming out of her head, and it's her voice that I'm hearing coming out of her head. And as I'm telling the doctor all the things that she was thinking, she put her hand on her mouth, and she was just like, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was concerned about our dog, whether to bring him or not, and bring food and all this stuff she was thinking. Anyway, so she believed me because she was like, how could you know what I was thinking? But the doctor, he didn't believe me at all. And he just said, what you had was a psychotic episode. You just thought you were out of your body. You just thought you were hearing her thoughts and everything. And I just looked him right in the eye and I said, you know what? It was more real than you and I standing here right now. God is more real than this existence, this world that we're living in right now. It's nothing compared to him. It's And now I understand that why he has so much patience with everybody. He can wipe us out and he just like that. I mean, there's nothing he can't do. It's amazing. But anyway, they found nothing wrong with me. They sent me home. And one of the interesting things that I found was at that time, I was 25 years old, living with this girl. And as she was crying, I remember thinking that, look how much she loved me. And a voice said, not the way you think she does. And years later, she cheated on me, left me, took my son from me, all kind of hell I went through. But it was almost as if he was telling me that, she doesn't love you like you think she does. And it was just another blessing. And anyway, since then, I've been through brain surgery, heart surgery, intestinal surgeries, all kinds of things in life. And he's always been by my side. Jesus Christ is the way. There is no other way. No other way. And you will see. Everyone will see. I guarantee it. The day of your death. Don't feel sorry for anybody that's died. Don't feel sorry for anybody that's died. Believe you me. He is an awesome, awesome God. And he loves everybody. It's crazy. It's scary. Scary. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's my near-life experience, because that was the closest I ever got to life. And so, I hope this helps somebody maybe. Send a message to someone. I don't know. But I love everybody, and I hope I see you in the kingdom someday. Love you. Bye-bye.